Today, I'm reviewing the Fairly Odd Coaster at the Nickelodeon Universe theme park at the Mall of America. For those of you who have ridden any of the Pandemonium spinning coasters at a Six Flags park, or Worlds of Fun spinning dragons, you'll probably be familiar with this layout. And now, I always thought Six Flags New England's Pandemonium was the original layout that was cloned. That coaster just fits in so perfectly on its plot of land at Six Flags New England. In fact, it originally wrapped around the old Time Warp flat ride. For that reason, I was stunned to find out the Fairly Odd Coaster was actually the first Gerstlauer spinner to open, and Pandemonium is a clone of that layout. More specifically, this coaster opened in 2004 as the Timberland Twister, back when the park was known as Camp Snoopy. So it was neat to see the layout was made out of necessity to dip, dodge, and twist its way around pre-existing rides, trees, and pathways. It also explains why the ride support structure is a bit unconventional. And to be honest, I prefer the Fairly Odd Coaster to the other clones, but it's not for the reason you'd think. I give this one the advantage because of how it's loaded. Most of these other Gerstlauer spinners are located at larger parks. For that reason, Six Flags and Cedar Fair are usually pretty good about filling all the seats. On this one, they allow you to ride alone. Because of that, you are going to get an unbalanced car if you're riding alone. That means a lot of spinning. If possible, I recommend riding in the backwards facing seats as you're dispatched. Since the spinning doesn't start until the second hill, that makes the first drop quite punchy if you take it in reverse. That's followed by the ride's lone series of hairpin turns. That then leads into the double helix where you get the ride's strongest G's and fastest spinning. If your car is unbalanced, you are going to spin like a top in this part of the ride. After a quick break, you wrap around the swing ride. Because of how wide this turn is, the spinning sort of lags at this part of the ride. However, it typically results in a wild whip as you enter into the next brake run, which will cause you to spin like a top during the finale. And that finale is probably the best part of the ride. You zip down the ride's largest drop, fly over a speed hill, and charge through one final helix. And keep in mind, you're spinning quite wildly during this part, even if you have a balanced car. The one disadvantage with this one is that it does have a slight rattle that I haven't noticed in the other Gerstlauer spinners, but it never became headache-inducing or uncomfortable. It's just sort of there. And again, I give this ride a pass because I am able to get that unbalanced car more often than not. So what do I rate the Fairly Odd Coaster? I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10. These Gerstlauer spinners are excellent family coasters. They're not overly tall nor fast, so they won't intimidate less daring riders. But the spinning keeps the ride exciting enough to appeal to thrill seekers. The biggest tip I have is to try for an unbalanced car if you want that wilder ride. Have you been on the Fairly Odd Coaster or any of these Gerstlauer spinners? I'd love to hear your comments down below. Thanks for listening and stay tuned for more coaster reviews here at Canopy Coaster.